yes, when it comes to content usage by an end user, there are multiple studies out there on what kind of content they like to consume. So उसमें से कुछ categories बाहर निकल के आई हैं जहाँ पे they want content in local language. The first, of course, is news and entertainment. This is a category when everybody comes to the internet, they're seeking for. But apart from that, the other categories that the Indic user says that they like consuming content are government services, health, and education. Right? And talking about the first, in fact, if you look at government services, health, and education, government should ideally be solving parts of all three in a way. When I talk about government services, very few government services are being offered in local language. I'll cite an example of one very often used government service, which is by actually a government commercial partnership, is booking trains, IRCTC. So if you go to their website, they have just English and then Hindi. That's on desktop, right? And when you talk about the mobile app, it's again only in English. Now that's poses a problem because what happens is that end user who might be a consumer in Kannada, Tamil, Telugu ends up actually going to an agent to book a ticket. And that's the contrary of the example that you just highlighted. Because of application not being in the local language, they are forced to take that route, right? And had that service been offered in multiple languages, more consumers would have actually consumed that service, and the government would have reached out to the masses, right? And effectively cut the middlemen, remove inefficiency or bureaucracy in the process. So that was something I wanted to highlight. Vivek probably can add something.
Yes, in fact, if the IRCTC website is in English and Hindi, with the train names probably still in English, right? So, the most critical information what a user would want to see is still in English. So it's not really solving a purpose. And I think, yes, one is that the government itself has not been able to do much, and therefore the reach to the people has been poor. But a lot of other services who are private, they are also trying to do a lot of things. There is this chicken and egg because many people think that because people are unable to use Hindi or we don't create content, and many users think that, well, there is no content, what is it that I can consume, right? So this problem can actually get solved in these two ways. One is that tell people how to use it. So educate most of them how to use the fundamentals of being able to use your language on a digital medium, right? And the rest the people will do themselves to a large extent. The government has done some I would say, in my opinion, personal opinion, that some blunders. When we look at China, right? So Chinese population is similar to that of India. We are more or less now same, right? तो अगर हम ये मान लें कि एक बंदा एक बड़ा सा जीनियस हो, 1000 में एक, 10,000 में एक, या फिर 1,00,000 में एक, तो भी इंडिया के अंदर में हजारों जीनियस मिलेंगे, बिकॉज हम लोग 130 करोड़ लोग हैं। चाइना के अंदर भी मोर और लेस सिमिलर है, लेकिन वहाँ पे if you look at all the things that are there, everything has been invented, innovated inside China. How? कैसे हुआ? Because the country is closed. The country doesn't let others come and do anything inside there. Very little can actually be done there. मतलब वहाँ पे अगर आप देखें अलीबाबा जो ऑनलाइन ट्रांजैक्शंस करते हैं, मीटर जो ऑनलाइन बुकिंग वगैरह कराते हैं, उनका वॉल्यूम्स है 30 मिलियन ट्रांजैक्शंस अ डे। 1 मिलियन डिलीवरी बॉयज होते हैं जो एक दिन में 30 डिलीवरी कर सकते हैं। इंडिया के अंदर में जो मैक्सिमम करता है वो 30,000 करते हैं दिन में। 30,000 वर्सेस 30 मिलियन, 1000x डिफरेंस। तो ये जो है एंड उनका जो ट्रांजैक्शंस per second है वो 85,000 transactions per second, which is like 5 times more that of Visa or Master, which are the world's largest transaction handling platforms. उनका इतना बड़ा इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर गूगल या AWS या ये सब ने जाकर के नहीं बनाया, वो लोग खुद बनाए। सो इतना सारा वहाँ पे जो इनोवेशन हो पाता है वो कैसे हो पाता है? वो इसलिए क्योंकि ये जो लाखों करोड़ों लोगों के अंदर में the learning that is supposed to be there has been allowed to be in Chinese. The knowledge is available in Chinese. The universities publish books and all the contemporary knowledge in Chinese. You just imagine, anybody who does 4th standard and drops out. In fact, in India, all the students who take admission into schools, 50% of them complete 4th standard and drop out. बाहर निकल जाते हैं. But जिंदगी भर के लिए वो लिटरेट रहते हैं. वो क्या करते हैं? चंदमामा भी पढ़ते हैं, न्यूज़पेपर पढ़ते हैं, वो सब कुछ पढ़ते हैं जो अपनी भाषा में अवेलेबल है. नॉलेज अवेलेबल नहीं है. सो इसलिए अपना ज्ञान उससे आगे वो नहीं ले जा सकते. वो भले ही कितना बड़ा जीनियस हो. That is why I call that as the English firewall. It's an apartheid we have created. And I don't know why we created it 50 or 60 years ago. But it's just that we have not even got rid of it till now. If we allow, probably it's the people like you and I who would end up creating a lot of, because there are a lot of online educations that are already happening and people are interested in all of those. They will consume all of it, and there are a lot of awesome genius people will end up creating a lot of fantastic stuff through the digital media. It's just that it has to be made.
Okay, just a quick reaction to the IRCTC thing. I'll just like to share the revolution of a developer in CRIS, Center for Railway Information Systems, who actually shared with us the issue of not having a local language interface for IRCTC. He says, earlier, you could book a ticket on a train 2 months before the departure of the train. Now it is increased to, I think, 3 months before the departure. Now, at 12 o'clock midnight, you sit with your machine, with your laptop, and you try to book that ticket, and you will see there are hardly any lift. Okay? Hardly any means there could be only 2 or 3 sometimes, if the season is a tourist season. So he says that this is happening when there's only about 7 to 8% of the population using their application. Just imagine what will happen if they add only Hindi. So there will be severe performance issues. And that is the reason why you will not get IRCTC in local language ever. Similar is the case with probably all the government services. If today you get these services in the local language, the performance issue will come from the people who actually have to start working. So probably that is the answer. Okay, so I think I'll just close the session. If anyone from the audience has any questions to ask, you're most welcome. Yeah, please.
Hi, my name is Rucha. I am from DES, and I have 2-3 questions. Anybody can answer them. First is, I thought that of all the things that you discussed, a lot of new things, but technology challenges, if you could highlight a little on that. Because the primary coding language that we have is English, and which is why it's very difficult for us to integrate different Indian languages in our code. So even we are working on developing local language applications, and it's quite tough for us because then we have to use some, I think the UTF, the script and to convert, and we have to input the content in Hindi, and then it will get converted from English to Hindi. So it's a hassle. If there's some technology issues which can be solved, then maybe it will become easier to integrate Indic languages. So that is one. Maybe you can answer, and then I'll ask the next question.
Yeah, that's better. One by one is better. So I'll tell you, there's no limitation to that. We have all the technologies available for unlimited, development of applications across, end to end in all Indian languages. Vivekanand will add to it because he is actually sitting in that market and serving the needs of users in a big way.
Sure. Yeah. So practically, you have all the technologies available to be able to use. Depends on where you want to use. There are also SDKs available in in the market that you can buy and use. Let's say if you're making a mobile app, you can use an SDK that can help you create or do all the multilingual stuff within your application. If you're using a web app, there are APIs available that you can use directly. And so Unicode has been the uniform encoding today for all the languages of the world, including that for English. So if you practically use English only in your application, internally, so earlier the encoding used to be ASCII, which was 1 byte, but today every system requests only Unicode and therefore will by default convert that into Unicode. So you don't have to worry about that practically. If you do face any issues, do have my card and you can, I'll be happy to help you over email, no problem.
Okay, thanks. The next one was about keyboards. Since the typing is the biggest problem because our keyboards are in English and we don't have keyboards in Indian languages. Not even, I don't know if there are keyboards in Hindi language. I think there are. So, but a lot of us don't know how to type using those keyboards. And like somebody said, we type in English and it comes on the screen in Hindi. So if that can be propagated, that is also a...
Yeah, so you can use Swalek from Play Store. It has phonetic typing. You can type in English and it will give you Hindi. And it also has got the other native Hindi typing. But like I said, that Hindi typing or any Indian language native typing is something that has to be learned. And so let's say if you learn it, it's not enough. Your application users have to learn it, right? So of course you can use the phonetic English, that's not a problem. Even Google Input is there, Google Input you can use.
So yes, there are a couple of answers to the input problem. So we do have keyboards, they're available as extensions on Chrome. There's something called Google Input Tools. It's a freely available Chrome extension that you can work on. When it comes to mobile phone apps, there's Google Indie Keyboard, there's Swalek, and there are tons of other keyboards available on the Play Store. Also available are actually voice recognition softwares, right, where you can actually say it out loud and it will convert. So Hindi voice search is something that Google does support. Because something that we heard was that it's easier to say it out and it automatically writes in the script. It's quicker. In fact, it's very interesting to see that even Hindi journalists who are reporting breaking news use those software because time is of essence, and where input becomes challenging and they end up using a lot of these softwares.
Yeah, just add to that. When you say typing, you want to facilitate the user in typing in Indian language or a local language. On the desktop, you can have a floating keyboard. Okay, so floating keyboard is what I mean is you get a picture of the keyboard on the screen. It can be placed anywhere you want. Just the way if you've used a keyboard for inputting your password on a bank site, ICICI Bank provides that, SBI card provides that. So it gives you an English keyboard and you click on the particular character, it gets inputted. Right? In a similar way, you can have that API you can integrate with the application. You get an API for that phonetic keyboard. For that Hindi or any local language keyboard, and you can integrate it in the application. On the mobile, today you have predictive keyboards. So the moment you start typing, it will give you a drop down of about 3 or 4 or list of about 7 or 8 different words that are beginning with that particular string of characters, and you can choose the select and it goes in. So there are a lot of new ways, and not new ways, actually what was there in English, today it has been replicated for the local language also.
What you added is also handwriting recognition.
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
Over and above what we supported English.
Thanks so much. And one last question was, you mentioned China multiple times. So what is it that we can learn from them? What is it that they are doing that we are not doing and we can do? Not the government, but us as organizations, what all can we do?
The most important thing that we can do is to focus on our people, right? Our local users. Because, I'll cite a very interesting instance here. We went and some of us were actually coming from e-commerce backgrounds. They were running e-commerce business, right? So they were CEOs of e-commerce companies. And they posed this question to Alibaba as well as to Meituan, that, how did you gain so many users? How did you manage to get such a lot of traction? Because they are 1000x in transactions, right? So what was your strategy to acquire such users? What sort of subsidies did you provide, and so on and so forth? So they were totally surprised. They were speechless for a while because they were unable to understand the question, right? So the objective is that a single uniform thing that every Chinese company that we met were saying is that localize is key. And they have come and they have won in India over other Indian companies. They understand the Indian market way better than many of us because we don't connect with the local Indian user. They come and they see that, well, localize. Localize means provide something that the people are used to or they would like to use in their own way. So understanding the user is more important, not buying them. We can't subsidize, because the moment we try to subsidize, we are actually undermining our users. We are thinking that they will only be, cheap buyers. That's not true. They are willing to pay, they just have to get value, right? So that's a key element.